I was running, barefoot, breath tearing through my chest. My wrapper kept slipping as branches whipped my skin, but I did not stop. I could hear footsteps behind me, soft, careful, familiar. "Wait! Please wait!" she shouted. I ran harder, because the voice chasing me was the last voice I ever expected to fear. Before we begin, if stories like this grip your heart and refuse to let go, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves powerful African storytelling. Your support keeps these stories alive. I did not always want from her. Once I trusted her with my life. My name is Adanna, and in my village, beauty was never a blessing. It was a debt, and eventually someone came to collect. The day everything began, I was pounding cassava behind my mother's hut when the shouting started. "Adanna! Adanna, wait! Let her pass! Let her pass!" I knew that sound. The sound that people made when they wanted to look without being accused of staring. When admiration dressed itself as urgency. My mother's pistol slowed. She did not look at me. "Go inside," she said quietly. "I haven't finished now." I obeyed. I always did. But through the cracks in the mud wall, I saw them gathering. Men pretending to argue about nothing. Women whispering behind their hands. Children standing on their toes. One of the elders cleared his throat. "She grows more beautiful by the day," he said. Another replied, "Too beautiful." That word again, too. That night, my mother sat beside me as she oiled my hair. Her hands trembled. "Listen to me. Never walk alone at night. Never accept gifts you did not ask for. Never believe every smile." I swallowed. Why does everyone look at me like I stole something? "Because they believe you did," she said softly. The only place I felt safe was with Amara. Amara was my closest friend, my shadow, my sister in everything but blood. We fetched water together, slept on the same mat during Harmattan nights, shared secrets we swore would die with us. She never looked at me the way others did. One afternoon, by the stream, she splashed water at me and laughed. "If you don't stop looking like that, you will cause trouble." I laughed too. "Looking like what?" "Looking like trouble," she repeated, smiling. Later that day, a woman spat near my feet and muttered, "Some girls think beauty is an achievement." I said nothing. That night, Amara came to my hut with bright eyes. "Did you hear?" she asked. "Hear what?" "The chief's son asked about you." "Why would you tell me that?" My heart dropped. "I thought you'd like to know." "No, I don't." "You don't?" "No." Her smile faltered, then returned, tighter. "You're strange, Adanna." Maybe I was. All I ever wanted was to disappear into ordinary life. But ordinary life did not want me. All I kept hearing was, "She walks like she owns the ground. She thinks she's better than us. She ruined our daughters." One evening, I overheard Amara arguing with her mother when I came to visit her. "It's not her fault," Amara snapped. "And yet everything follows her. Even your anger," her mother replied. I held my breath. Anger. Well, the next day, Amara barely spoke to me. When I asked what was wrong, "Nothing. I'm tired," she shrugged. But tired people do not look at you like you're measuring something, or grip their hands until their knuckle whitens. Few days later, there was a village festival with drums and firelights. When we arrived, I begged my mother not to let go of me. "Staying inside will make them talk more," she said. "Stand tall." At the square, conversation stopped as I passed. Amara appeared by my side soon. "You look afraid," she said. I am. Leaning closer, she said, "There's a place beyond the old silk curtain tree. It's quiet and safe. We can watch from there." "Why there?" "Because no one follows us there." She smiled. "Let's go." I followed. The forest swallowed sounds quickly. The drums faded. My skin prickled. "Amara, let's go back." "Just a little further, Amara." Then she stopped, turned, and for the first time in my life, she did not look at me as a friend. She looked at me like a trouble she had finally decided to solve. "Do you know what it's like to be invisible beside you?" My mouth opened. "What are you talking about?" My whole life, people looked past me, past my effort, past my kindness, and then you, just standing there, became everything. "I never asked of this." "I know," she snapped. "That's what makes it worse." My heart skipped. "Amara, please." She stepped back. The forest felt endless suddenly. "Someone has to pay, and it won't be me," she said. That was when I heard footsteps behind me, coming closer, and that's it. I began to run. If this story has pulled you in so far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I didn't know where my feet were taking me. I only knew I had to keep moving. "Adana! Adana!" Amara called again. "Stop running." Her voice cracked, and for a heartbeat, I almost did. Like I almost turned. I almost believed the girl who used to braid my hair while humming old songs. Then I heard another voice. "She's this way." My lungs burned. Panic rolled in my ears. I veered left, slipped on damp leaves, hit the ground hard. Pain exploded through my shoulder. Footsteps surrounded me. Soon, a hand grabbed my arm, and I screamed, "Quiet! Do you want to bring spirits down on us?" I twisted free and staggered backward until I hit my spine on a tree. Moonlight broke through the canopy, and I saw them. They were 3 men from my village. And Amara, she was standing behind them, arms folded, just watching. "Why? Why are you doing this?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "I wanted you to stop drawing attention." "I never did." "Enough," one man snapped. "You talk too much." I looked at her again. "Amara, tell them to let me go, please." Her jaw trembled. For a moment I thought she would. Instead, she said, "Take her." They moved fast, too fast. Rough hands pinned my arm. I kicked, I beat, I screamed, but none worked. "Don't hurt her." One man laughed. "You brought her to us, don't pretend to be clean." They dragged me deeper into the forest until the drums were nothing but memory. When they finally stopped, my throat was dry and my body shaking. "This is far enough," one said. "What are you going to do?" "Leave you," another replied. "The forest will decide the rest." I gave a sharp, hysterical laugh. "You'll be blamed." "No," he said calmly. "You run away. Girls like you always do." They turned to leave. "Amara!" I screamed. "Please, if you ever loved me." "I loved you. That was the problem," she replied without looking back. Then they disappeared. I didn't know how long I lay there. Time lost meaning. I cried until there was no tears left. Then laughter until my chest hurt. "Mother, I'm sorry. Something moved. Who is there? A sharp image emerged from the shadows. Old, bent, wrapped in ash-colored clothes. Child, the woman said gently, why do you bleed where the moon can see? You're not real, I blinked. She smiled. The forest here lies every day, but it recognizes the truth. She knelt and pressed leaves against my wounds. Rats spread through me. Why didn't you save me sooner? Because you had to see the face of betrayal clearly, she replied. Will I die? Not tonight. She helped me stand. Come. We walked until the air smelled like water. There was a river that shimmered ahead, wide and silent. Stay. The ancestors will watch. Who are you? She touched my forehead, a reminder. Then she was gone. When I woke, sunlight cut through the trees. Birds sang as if nothing had happened. I stumbled towards the river and drank until my stomach cramped. My reflection stared back, wild-eyed, bruised, alive. I will not die here, I told myself. I followed the river downstream. By docks, smoke rose ahead. A settlement, smaller than my village. A woman spotted me and gasped, Child, what happened to you? I opened my mouth and broke up in tears. They took me in, fed me, hid me. I told them nothing. Back home, rumors bloomed like roots. She seduced strangers. She ran away with men. Her beauty finally swallowed her. My mother searched every day. She begged the elders. Amara avoided her. At night, Amara dreamed of me. I knew this because she later told me how I stood at the foot of her mat, silently watching. You're not dead, she whispered in the dream. Not yet, I smiled. Then she woke up screaming. Weeks passed. My body healed. One evening, the old woman from the forest appeared at the river bank. You're ready. For what? To return. I can't. Oh, you must. What if they don't believe my story? She looked at me steadily. Truth does not ask permission. The night I returned, the village gathered to settle a dispute. Fires burned, drums waited. I stepped into the light. Silence felt like a blade. My mother's cry split the air. She ran to me, touching my face as if I might vanish. You're alive! You're alive! The chief stood. Adanna, where have you been? I met Amara's eyes. She was frozen and pale. Where she sent me, I said. Amara shook her head. She's lying. Am I? Then look at me, lifting my arms. Bruises bloomed like dark flowers. Ask her why she led me into the forest. Ask her who followed us.
Amara screamed, Stop. The elders murmured, the drums began slow, accusing. The chief raised his staff. Amara, he said, speak. She collapsed to her knees, and finally told the truth. If you're still with me, pause for a second, like the video, subscribe and share. The truth did not come out gently. Amara's shoulders shook as she knelt there, hands clenched in the dirt. I didn't mean for it to go that far, she cried. I only wanted her to stop being everything. A murmur rolled through the crowd. Ew. My mother made a sound like she'd been struck. The chief's voice cut through the noise. Everything. Amara looked up at him, tears streaking her face. Everywhere she went, people followed. Every word she spoke, people listened. I was there first. I mattered first. I stepped forward, my legs trembled, but my voice did not. You mattered to me. She flinched like I'd slapped her. I shared my food with you, my secrets, my fears, I said. When they gossiped about you, I defended you. When they praised me, I hid so you wouldn't feel small. Her mouth opened then closed. But you still hated me, I continued, because I had something you wanted, not because I took it from you. The elders exchanged looks, the drums slowed, each beat heavy. Name the men, the chief commanded. Amara shook her head violently. They'll kill me. You already tried to kill someone else, an elder replied. Speak. Eyes down with hands holding each other, she called out their names. The crowd erupted. The men were dragged forward, shouting protests that died quickly when the marks on my arms were shown again. The chief raised his staff. By our laws, betrayal that invites death is punished by banishment. Cries broke out. Let them go, someone shouted. Another echoed, no, they deserve worse. My mother grabbed my hand. Say something, she whispered. They'll listen to you. I looked at Amara, the girl who used to sleep beside me, at the woman who watched me get dragged into darkness. I raised a hand. Let her speak, the chief said quietly. I swallowed, my heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. If you banish them, I said slowly, they will suffer, but they will still believe they were right. Silence. I don't want them to think that, I continued. I want them to remember. Amara looked up sharply. What does that mean? I met her gaze. You will stay. Villagers gasps. You will live here, I said, voice steady, and you will face every word you once fed, every look you encouraged. You will carry the truth the way I carried fear. Amara sobbed, please. And when people ask what happened, I finished, you will tell them. The chief studied me for a long moment, then he nodded, so shall it be. The men were still banished, Amara remained. Alive. Remembering. That should have been the end. But it was. Because punishment does not erase jealousy, it only teaches it to hide. The weeks that followed were worse than the night of the betrayal. People avoided me or stared too long, mothers pulled their daughters away, men lowered their eyes ashamed or resentful. She thinks she's powerful now, I heard one woman whisper. She enjoys this, said another. Amara did not leave her hut. When she did, people pointed, children mocked her. She came to me one night, eyes hollow. I can't breathe here, she said, they hate me. I almost laughed. You taught them how, I replied. She fell to her knees. What do you want from me? The answer surprised me. I want peace. She looked up, then leave. The words settled in my chest like a stone. That night I dreamed of the forest again, of the old woman, of the river. When I woke I knew. I went to the chief at dawn. I'm leaving, I said. He frowned, you've done nothing wrong. I know, I replied, that's why I must go. My mother cried quietly as she packed my things, will you come back? I kissed her hands. When beauty stops being a crime. Amara watched from a distance, she did not speak. As I walked away I felt the village watching, measuring, remembering. This time I did not lower my head. The world beyond the village was wider than I imagined. I learned new names, new ways, new versions of myself. People still noticed my beauty, but some asked my name first. Still the scars remained, not on my body, on my trust. One evening by another river, the old woman appeared again. You chose well, she said. I lost everything, I replied. She shook her head, you kept yourself. I stared at my reflection in the water, older, stronger. Will it ever stop, I asked, the envy? She smiled sadly, no, but you will recognize it sooner. Years later a traveler came to where I lived. She asks for you, he said, a woman from your village. I knew before he said the name. Amara. She stood before me, thinner, older, eyes heavy with regret. I tell them the truth, she said immediately, every time like you asked. I nodded. I don't want forgiveness, she continued. I just want you to know I see it now, beauty didn't steal from me, I let jealousy rot me from the inside. I studied her face, then I spoke. I hope you heal, I said. Nothing more. Nothing less. As she walked away, I felt something loosen inside me. Not forgiveness. Freedom. I did not think my story would outlive me. I was wrong. Years passed, I grew into myself the way land grows after fire, carefully, stubbornly, honestly. I learned how to walk into rooms without shrinking, how to speak without apologizing, how to look people in the eye and decide quickly who deserved my trust and who did not. But no matter where I went, stories traveled faster. Sometimes they reached me twisted. She bewitched them all, they punished her beauty because it was too powerful, she used tears to destroy her friend. At first the lies burned, then I learned something important. People will always rewrite a woman's survival to make it more comfortable for themselves. So I stopped correcting them. Until the day I returned. The message came quietly. An old trader recognized me at the market. He stared too long, then bowed his head. "They speak your name again," he said. My chest tightened. "Why?" "There is a girl," he replied, "very young, very beautiful, and the whispers have started." I did not sleep that night. By dawn my decision was made. The village looked smaller when I returned. The paths are narrower, the houses closer together as if gossip had pulled them inward. Children stopped playing when they saw me. Women stared openly. Men pretended not to look. My mother's hut stood where it always had. She opened the door before I knocked. She did not cry this time. She smiled. "You came back standing," she said. I hugged her, breathing in the smell of home. I came back because I survived. That evening the elders called a gathering. They said they wanted to honor me. I almost laughed. When the fire was lit and the village settled, the chief spoke. "Adana," he said. "Tell us what you learned." I stepped forward. "I learned," I began, "that beauty is not dangerous. Murmurs. Jealousy is. Silence." I looked around the circle. I learned that betrayal rarely comes from strangers, it comes from people who know exactly where to strike. Some eyes dropped. I learned that when a community feeds envy, it creates monsters, and then pretends to be shocked when someone bleeds. The fire crackled. And I learned, I finished, that silence protects the wrong people. The chief nodded slowly. "There is a girl," he admitted, "she reminds them of you." I turned, she stood at the edge of the circle, barely more than a child, beautiful, yes, but more than that, afraid. I walked to her and took her hands. "What is your name?" I asked. "Zina," she whispered. "Zina," I said, loudly enough for all to hear, "your beauty is not a crime, and anyone who treats it like one is telling you who they are." Her grip tightened. That night I told my story again. Not as a victim. As a warning. I told them about the forest, the hands, the silence that followed, the way a friend's jealousy sounded exactly like concern until it was too late. I told them what betrayal feels like, how it changes your bones. And I told them what survival costs. When I finished, the village was quiet. No applause. No praise. Just understanding. And that was enough. Later, alone with my mother, I asked the question I'd carried for years. "Did you ever blame me?" She looked at me sharply. "For what?" "For being seen." She took my face in her hands. "Listen to me, anyone who blames light for exposing darkness is already lost." I smiled then, truly smiled. At dawn I went to the river. The water moved steadily, indifferent to memory. I knelt and touched my reflection, older now, marked not by fear but by knowledge. "I kept myself," I whispered. The forest did not answer. But the wind did. Today they tell my story by firelight. They do not tell it to praise beauty. They tell it to warn against envy. They say, "There was once a girl whose beauty attracted attention she never asked for. When jealousy grew loud, betrayal followed, but she lived, and because she lived, others learned." They say, "Not every enemy will raise their voice, not every friend will protect you, and not every wound is visible." They say, "Guard your heart from jealousy and your loyalty from comparison. Because beauty does not destroy villages. Betrayal does." If this story stayed with you, if it made you feel something, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Stories survive because people pass them on. The end.